Okay, students, now that we've done the albedo map, or the color map, let's start on the normal map. So what we can do is, in Photoshop, uh, there's a button on Filter, 3D, Generate Normal Map. But I just checked, if you're having issues accessing this button, it might be because of edit, preferences, performance, and here, this part here, the use of, make sure this button is ticked, use graphics processor, so since mine is working, it's fine. So we can press OK. And then what we can do is, yeah, so 3D. Oh, before I get onto this, so the way we're going to do it, we're going to generate the whole thing altogether. However, what you want to do and what industry does is each individual part. So in this sense, the sword, like as in like the steel part, you might want to do that together. But gold and leather have different textures. So what you want to do is texture these separately. So in your separate layers, uh, so just have on leather selected and texture that nice a bit, whereas gold you might want to do a bit more rough. So what we can first do, I've already done it, is if you've got multiple layers selected, hold shift, select all of them, and if you press right click and press merge layers, and that will merge everything together. After you've done that, we can press on filter, 3D, generate normal map, and then let it load up, and it'll look like a sphere. So this is what we first want to do, is change object to cube, just to get an understanding of what it looks like on a flat surface. So once we've done that, you can see there's a lot of options. Now, it's what we want to change is the low, medium, and high. So these are the intensity of it. So for instance, I'm just going to, let's see, if I pull the lows up and I pull the medium down and the high down, as you can see, it becomes really flat and a lot of details gone. But at the same time, if you have a lot of highs, then it looks too sharp. And we don't want that either, because then it just looks fake. So you need to find that right balance. So maybe we do want some mediums, but we don't want too much highs. And naturally, Photoshop, what they do is everything's normally inverted. So since we have scratches and leather and stuff like that, we do want it that way. But for instance, if you want to make like a window coming outwards, we can just press this button here, invert the height, and that way it'll push it. One way to know is, one note is, in a normal map, is black inverts and white like extrudes, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So once we've done that, we can just press OK, and this is our normal map. So you can see we got all the detail. So then what we can do is press File, Save As, save it again as a PNG, call it normal. Excuse me, sorry, call it normal sword or shield, whatever you're doing. Save it, and then it'll save. Then we can go in back into, what's this? Let's go back into Maya. Go back into our texture. Now there's no normal map option, so what we have to do is press bump mapping, then go to File, and then here there's bump value, bump depth, and use as. We want to change bump to tangent space normals. After that, we can go into a file, so image name, normals, and apply. Now if we have a look, before it was flat, but now there is like, you can see in the creases that it goes in, similar to the metal. Obviously, the reason I might be looking like this is just because the renderer of Maya isn't made for overall rendering. But what we can do is, for instance, if I just wanted to look at this scene in particular, we could just render it out. Press render, and as you can see, there is detail, normals details going in on the handle, and as well as the gold. Now, if you think about it, if this is if we're using a used sod, you might want to have cracks in here, like deep cracks, like so. For instance, let's see if I can add any more actually. So let's use my logic that I said earlier. If we press B, uh, brush, change my brush. Let's see, maybe I want to use. Oh, yeah, that's not too bad actually. So let's just say I'm gonna add some more creases onto a new layer, right? As I have. What we can then do is press back to 3D, filter, generate normal map. Oh, that didn't work as I expected. Let's try that again. 3D, generate normal maps. Let's change that back into a cube. Ah, I see. So it hasn't really done what I asked it to do, which is annoying. What we can then try to do then, I guess, is maybe, hold on, I'll just use a manual brush. So let's just do that. So let's just say I've got cracks here, a couple of cracks there, like so. And now we can try it, filter, normal map. There we go, and invert them, like so. Let's just say that's that. Now you can see I've got another layer on top of it. But then what you can also see is, let's see, sometimes there'll be errors where it'll disappear. So for instance, this worked. And now what I'm going to do is go to save. Oh, I meant to do save as, sorry. PNG, normal, save, save, save. And then if we go back into Maya and normals, like so, as you can see, I now have the scratches in. Now it's not part of the geometry obviously because it's a texture, but let's just double check if that's actually come through properly, because it does look like there are scratches, but we have to double check. Render that out, and yeah, we can see since there are shadows getting produced, that means there's a new normal on top of it. So if this is a used sword, we can say, oh, it's been dented and scratched, and that brings more story elements to the objects that you create, which you should be doing for everything, right? So that's today's lesson. Thank you very much.